Yeah, hello, this is another episode of the Intelligent Document Podcast. I am Alain Veuve, and my guest today is Andy Maier, who is in the management of AXA Switzerland, and who is leading the information department, IT department. It's a pleasure to have you here, Andy. Thank you very much for coming. Maybe you can introduce yourself a bit. So what's your background? For those who don't know you, you're actually are a very experienced leader in IT information management.
An old one. So first and foremost, Alain, thank you so much, Alain, and your team, for having me over. I'm deeply impressed about your entrepreneurial spirit and your delivery and your guidance through innovative technology solution that help us a lot. So congratulations to you and your team. Yes, my name is Andy. I'm 59 years old. I'm married. I have 2 grown-up daughters still at universities. I have a background in computer science, one of the very first ones, by the way, and economics later on from University St. Gallen. I have done business school in Boston. My career was always operations and technology roles throughout the research center of ABB in Dettwil, where I started through Credit Suisse, Winterthur Insurance, Zurich Financial. For Zurich Financial, I was 3 years located with my family in Chicago. Coming back and then later on moving to AXA, where I'm now almost for 10 years the CIO for AXA, responsible for technology, data and innovation.
Very, very good. Thank you. When I I think we first met like 3 years ago or something, and I remember that very well. We were actually transferred to your office through the building, and then there was this I think you still have it, this standing desk, and we were placed on that desk, and we were standing around that desk, and so that was a new situation for me, basically, to come such a high profile executive, and then you're sort of not going to a meeting room, but sort of invited to the individual office, and you came to that desk, and it was this vibrant sort of initiative, this energy around, and you showed us around how AXA is set up. What is your vision? It was not like a full picture thing, but there was like a lot of initiative, and I was blown away by this sort of way. We'll get that, and I see IT as something which is helping the business move forward, and this is the future. So ever since I got to learn a bit more on how you deal with things at AXA. So where are you standing today? Maybe you can give a bit of an overview for listeners. It's a pretty massive organization. AXA is the largest insurer in Switzerland, and the IT data and department, we are about 600 people, most of them actually located in Switzerland. I have a very limited nearshore extended workbench that we do. We are organized, first of all, our vision logically is to be a platform for our employees, to be a platform for our customers directly, B2C, but also now much stronger in the future, be a platform for our business partners. So the B2B2C element. So I think we don't see ourselves anymore as the guardians of an application landscape. Mm-hmm. So that sort of old world. We see ourselves as providing a digital technology platform for the business to do business with our customers and our business partners. We have transformed over the last 5-6 years quite dramatically. We work now in 50 product teams, standing product teams together with the business. We still have initiatives on the strategic level because of business case. We break them down in portfolio epics. We have a house of cards who is prioritizing our portfolio epics, distributing them over the product teams, coordinating them into features and stories. And it's a whole machine, the whole organization, the whole 600 people work the same in 5
2-week sprints with agile release planning methods and medium-term planning over 3 to 4 portfolio epics. So I think the machine has been set up and is now reasonably well oiled. Now, interesting-wise, we do the next step. We transform into more customer-oriented value streams, which means that the feature-oriented product teams take a larger responsibility at the back end to platforms and the front end towards the portal products. So I think we are simplifying towards customer value streams as we speak, and trying to get a little bit more effectiveness as well. We invest about 120 million over the last 3 years. It was more overinvested. The demand in digital transformation is super high. We want to be seen as innovative, since AXA has all lines of business, from property and casualty, from non-life and health. We have a broad spectrum, and there the demand on digital transformation is huge. So it's by far every year about 50% of what we could deliver logically. Yeah. So, but I think I'm very pleased with where we are and how we can move forward at the moment. Also, not just in the value streams, but also on the technology side. I'm in the middle of moving to a public cloud, cloudification of the last old mainframe stuff into modern cloud architectures. We have also the innovation part, where we have a set of, you know that because you're one of them, startups that we invested in and collaborate quite intense. We believe to enhance our services, we need to have a couple of speedboats that inspire us, the large organization, how to move forward faster, how to be innovative, and how to provide new solutions.
I think these teams, you mentioned this like 50 teams. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
What kind of roles are they consisting, or are they made of? It's like there's like mixed business also and development and.
All our teams are a mix between business analysts, process engineers, and complete technology DevOps teams. Product owners are, with the exception of some of the platforms, dominantly in the business. And this is now what we're expanding, even the product team consisting of not just business analysts and the technology team. They should also consist of the distribution element and the operation. Yeah. So we are making the value chain vertically of these teams longer, but still have the concept of a standing product team.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I think that will level out a lot of like friction and misunderstandings that can occur on the way. So it's impressive. The other thing I was asking myself, I was invited like 2 years ago in this one of those agile release plannings, and you guys rented this massive warehouse. I don't remember how it was called. It was like 400 people for 2 days doing this sort of sprint planning. Is that something you still do? Or, I mean, you probably didn't do it for COVID reasons, but...
We did it virtually during COVID, logically. But now we have, in one of our... It's not the warehouse anymore, since we have now a much more condensed smart working concept. 3 years ago, we had about 0.8 chairs for every employee in the office. Now it's about 0.6. So we have a little bit, we gained some space. Yeah. And in one of our large areas in the Superblock in Winterthur, we empty now a whole floor for doing these kind of large release PI planning in-house. Yes. Awesome. Complete new shape. And it's still 300 people in an ARP. We still do this. It's culturally very important. And I hope so that we can do it physically the next month already.
I remember as it was yesterday, because I was invited and somebody told me, you need to come there, and I needed to present something with Acanto, a little detail. And I was getting in there, and I was just really blown away because there was such a good atmosphere. It's just it was not a party, but it felt like a people were in the mood like there's hope for tomorrow. So we're building stuff that really matters, and everybody looked like everybody liked to be there, and so that was very new to me for corporate culture. How do you get so many people in there and there's a lot of other great people I met that are working for your department or your teams. What's your impact on you said it's a well-oiled machine. I think it's also a very well-oiled machine culturally, for what I have seen. Mm-hmm. What was your impact?
I don't know exactly. So I think it's instead of, again, I remember when we started 2015, 16, two-speed IT, and then we had large debates, and instead of debates and theory or we said, okay, all consultants out, let's just do something. Said 6 teams, let's start and experience ourselves and see where it works and where it doesn't. And this is then how we gradually just increased a culture of innovation, a culture of trying out new stuff. Yes, we failed. It's still too complicated in certain corners, and not everything worked out. I think that's absolutely normal. You learn from it, you move on. And I think just the spirit of, we have innovation days where people can pitch, and about 25% of the innovation days ideas move it into production. We have hackathons, we have ARPs. It's just nurturing the culture of innovation and technology and excitement every day, right? And somehow we got lucky.
If you work hard enough, luck is on your side. So it's inevitable. These initiatives, how do you? Is that coming from you, or do you have like a close team that you're sort of work that out, and or how is that?
No, I'm one of these guys who think I'm not smarter than my team. We need to hire smart people. We are lucky to have an attractive portfolio to hire smart people. They bring ideas, and you need to let them do it, and then see where some of them get traction and some not. So those are not my ideas. I try to nurture the culture. I try to encourage the teams to come up with ideas and bring them, and I try to give them room for, again, nurturing those little plans. That's my role, to enable and nurture, and not to define how things should be done. Right. They are much smarter than I am.
Okay. So you're more like the coordinator, facilitator,
absolutely,
kind of leader to get it.
Absolutely. Right. Except when there is a disaster, a crisis, then I switch my roles.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, sure. People often forget. That's also something I learned with AXA and other insurances over time. This operations is super crucial. It's more crucial than in other companies when it comes to insurances. So. Talking about operations, you just mentioned cloud. If I get it right, AXA Switzerland was quite early for their journey into the cloud. What's your take on the cloud?
So for me, again, it's the infrastructure element of the innovation per definition. You need the culture element, you need the skills, you need the team and the structure and the methodology, but there is a technology element as well. For me, being an early mover on the cloud, you can't be innovative and not be on the cloud. I can't imagine that there's very little innovation on the mainframe. Again, just not possible. Even SAP is moving now to the cloud. Yeah. And I believe it shows, again, all the innovation that goes on with tools and open source and communities. It's just a different vibe, technology driven. Even now, since 9 months, we have the whole data analytics moved onto GCP, my business is excited. That's amazing, right? And typical analytical query runs a factor 100 faster than before. 100. And they, I mean, it just makes things so much easier, so much more capabilities. And for me, it is really the basis for the technology basis for everything in the future for digital transformation. Can't imagine it will not work without it.
I mean, I think we're on the same page in having the conviction that almost everything enterprise B2B will move to the cloud.
Yeah.
So it's surprising how fast this is actually the mind change is going. I remember like 18 months ago, there were big banks telling me you will never be able to deliver, or actually we're never able to contract you with your cloud version because there's this sort of mindset and this regulatory constraints, and now we're starting to win them, and I think in another 18 months probably you will have severe disadvantages if you're not having a cloud native solution. So that's it looks like things are turning.
Things are turning, yeah.
But looking back, how hard was it to push internally for the cloud?
It wasn't too bad because we made the step. We had this interim step to a private cloud on some technology still in our data center. So I think break that down into an interim step and now moving on to the managed public version probably helped to digest the change. But I remember very well in my board of directors where you have some established names from Switzerland. When I said by the end of 2024 we don't have a data center anymore, that I got eyes like, what do you mean, Andy?
All right.
So yes.
Okay.
I had that too. And there were people who said, but you have reputation damage and security and explaining the facts and so on is and demonstrating that we can release the value in terms of modern technology and also efficiencies just helps step by step.
Very interesting. I mean, I like you guys are pushing to the cloud because this is important. I think there's still many enterprises out there that still have this. They're still are starting to go into that journey and looking into the future. What do you think is important for AXA Switzerland when it comes to digital transformation? So.
This is a very good question. I think again, digital transformation. Some learnings. It's much tougher than anyone expected. Legacy hurts. Legacy mindset hurts. It's an end-to-end customer thing. It's not just a lipstick on a pig, a nice user interface. It's much more costly than anybody thought. It's painful, and it's much more than some people think. Okay, I have a document, and it's just an electronic version of it. It is rethinking processes, value propositions, solutions, customer journeys new, rather than just turning old process into the same process, but in digital. So I think it's much harder than we expected years ago, but it's exciting, and I think the proof shows if you do something right and if you provide digital solutions to the right savvy customer segment, independent of age, by the way. I think it's independent of age. It works very well. But again, it's tougher, and you need to think it through from the very first moment of a customer touch point to the very end of servicing.
it's sort of cross-discipline initiatives.
Yes.
Yeah. Which makes it hard then.
It's a very good term to phrase.
What I also see a lot is that enterprises are sort of held back by legacy mainframes. Some very old. So it's maybe a question you don't want to answer. How many of those mainframes you still have in the house, and then you want to actually, how to call that, beat out of the park in the next years? So,
that's interesting that you asked me that question. So I think we constantly invested about 15% of our portfolio per annum over the last 8-9 years to modernize our application landscape. By about middle of 23, our whole 3 million lines of code for individual life switched off. The portfolio will be migrated, commissioning will be switched off, and by the end of next year, I will have about 7-8 large mainframe applications left, versus 230 on the cloud, versus 26 on a dedicated SAP infrastructure, to give you a perspective.
All right.
And now I think I will see strategically the issue of a stranded cost challenge, right? I mean, there's less and less functionality of an application platform that's 10 times more expensive than the rest. So I showed this to my board and say, guys, we need to now act to not have a problem in 5 and 6, 7 years. And my board approved that we do a study how to unload the mainframe.
All right.
And I will come back in Q3 to my board and say, here, this is what it takes, and that's the value if we unload the rest. And the value is large. So always when you put the large value on the table in a financial service company, you can ask for some investment.
Of course.
So yes, we are working on a case very concretely, and I hope to have a decision how to unload mainframe by the end of this year.
Alrighty, all right, very good. So what I often see is with this mainframe or legacy mainframe discussion is that cost and maybe also security is maybe not only security, it's more like, well, what happens if people that can maintain mainframes die or just back away from the I heard cruel stories, not from AXA but from other enterprises, and but what I actually learned is that there's often business wanting to be innovative when it comes to customer facing applications or want to provide new stuff, but these mainframes not having interfaces or not having not providing agility actually block all those initiatives. Is that something you see as a strategic? Is it also taken into account when thinking of going away from mainframes, or don't
Absolutely.
you see this is a real problem?
This is a real issue today because, as you say, we don't have APIs to mainframe modules that can easily be attached to microservices or aggregated in other services. So while in the study, what we do is actually not just unload it one-to-one, but re-architect functionality in microservices and API and have backend interfaces then as well. We do have challenges. The front end, I think we have modernized quite well. So everything from consulting offering up to the sales tools, but the servicing part is lagging.
Okay.
And servicing is based on mainframe and service centers, where you call and the service agent takes your call and types it in. The transformation of that will be done in parallel when we offload. So I do agree with the challenge. There is no flexible backend that we have in servicing, and yes, we need to transform these last bits as well. It will take us 8 years plus minus. It's not a fast thing. There's still a lot of functionality that needs to be, but it can be done. We have proven it. We have track records. We have the skills. Cloud technologies are secure and robust now. Availability argument is not there. And as you also said, mainframe PL1, in our case, skills are retiring.
Yeah.
I have about 65 left, and over the next 5-6 years, they melt down to 30. So I can either try to educate and train and build new ones, or I run off with the same curve as the retirement.
Yeah, so this is an inherently growing risk.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. One last question. Sorry if you don't mind. This is so interesting. I was, and I'm not going to mention who that was. I was talking to another executive in the financial industry, services industry, and he was talking, Andy Maier. This guy, he's very innovative, and what I heard, this guy told me, he's sort of the IT innovation sort of leader in the AXA group, or he's sort of constantly putting new things, and that, so the AXA Switzerland obviously has a very high standing in the group. I hope it's not totally untrue, but it's just a rumor I heard, and that to most rumors there's some truth in it. What I'm interested in is how is that exchange with the worldwide group organized? How are you guys doing this? Because I assume you talk to each other and you try to learn as much as possible from different markets and setups and etc.
We do have absolutely. Again, we are part of a group, and in my view, we are doing the reasonable things globally. In the past, there's always a little bit difficulty where does a group and global solutions really add value, where not. But I think now focusing on secure infrastructure, security operations center 24/7, these elements like YAS and PAS level plus security solutions, to my view, make a lot of sense. An infrastructure can be commoditized. Security controls, the security risks are the same. They're not depending on Switzerland or any border or any legislation. So to solve these globally make a lot of sense. And the whole application element is aligned with the requirements of a specific market. For me, that model works very well. So I think over the last year, the discussions with the group have become much more reasonable because of a reasonable, what is your strength and what is mine, right? And the group is with the cloud strategy as well, is now enabling again my view on how to move first. Sometimes I'm a little bit ahead, and then I need to ask for exceptions and let me use Terraform before the group does, and things like that. And then the group is following. So I think that works well. We do in certain areas, I believe, by the way, also thanks to you guys in AI solutions, have a little bit more open-minded spirit and culture that allows to have a little bit a different speed. So, the French culture is sometimes a little bit more, let's first look and see. And the Swiss culture here helps to move a little bit.
Move a little bit first.
Yeah, and then ask for forgiveness.
All right. Yeah, with this, thank you very much for taking time. Really appreciate it a lot. You took the road to come here. I'm looking forward to continue to work with you and with your team.
Likewise, Alain, I think there's a lot of work for us to do. Please continue with your entrepreneurial spirit and team, and do what you do. We count on your on your innovation capability and technology, and I appreciate our partnership.
Thanks.
Really do.
Same here. Thank you very much.